Welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be talking about sinking funds and what I'm doing with them. My name is Amanda and I post videos about my financial and personal journeys, and I am so happy to have you here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we are going to be talking about sinking funds and how I plan on allocating the money that I do disperse into my savings account accordingly. I basically created a new bank account and now I have the ability to set up buckets, and I have set up 10 different buckets that will account for different parts of my savings that I want to be specifically allocated. Let's just jump right in. The bank that I chose to go with was Ally. I went with Ally Bank because not only do they have an outstanding reputation with amazing customer satisfaction reviews, but I have heard a lot of fantastic things from them from people within the community, friends, and family. So with Ally, I opened a basic savings account, and that offers me a 1.25% APR on all of my available balances. I did decide to go with a high interest savings account because all of my savings account are high interest except for my personal banking account. I decided that I wanted to go with Ally also because they had one of the higher APRs, and at 1.25% it was such a great deal. Let's talk a little bit about how Ally sets up their savings account bucket system. Once you sign up for your account, you will transfer your money into your account. I deposited $300 and went ahead and started to disperse those into my buckets. And here's the way that I set up my buckets. So the buckets that I chose to set up were pretty specific to what I want, but they are also fairly generic. So I have a home fund, which will be saving for a house as well as any home related expenses and costs. I have an education fund, which is for furthering my education. I am going to be in school for at least another 5 or so years, so I have a long road of education ahead of me, and saving a little bit of money for that will be very helpful. I have a fund for a baby, which is for future baby or babies one day. I want to be able to save for medical costs as well as just the general associated costs that come with having a child. I have a vehicle fund, which is not only for buying a new vehicle, but it is also for car related expenses, maintenance, repairs, things like that. I have a special occasions fund, which is for birthdays or any special occasion that pops up. I want to have money in there available that I can use for those occasions. I have a bucket set up for family, which I'm not 100% sure how I want to use this bucket, but Ally allows you to set up to 10 buckets, so I wanted to use them all. The family bucket will most likely be used for family related activities, things that, since I am on a no spend, I don't want to spend money on, which this would include stuff like trips to Michael's where I'm getting crafts or something for an activity that we're doing, or I don't know, maybe like, I really don't know. I'll figure it out along the way, but I have it set up. So family, I also have an account for tax payments. So this is going to be for my 2 times a year personal property taxes. I have an account set up, or a bucket set up for holidays. So this is going to include just Christmas. I, in the future, may modify it to include things Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, because those are big holidays for me. But as of right now, I have it just set up to account for Christmas expenses. This includes presents, decorations, any sort of random odd and end gifts, or anything that I want to buy around the Christmas season will come from this account. And then I have 2 travel accounts. One is specific to travel, just a general travel account that I want to be funded for any time that I want to take a daycation, a couple daycation, or a full-blown trip. And then I also have a specific bucket set up just for California. My plan is to travel to California for 1 to 2 weeks, and it will be very expensive, and I want to have enough money in there to do so, and I want to have a very comfortable and exciting and fulfilled trip while I'm there, because there's a lot to see. I have never been to California, so this bucket is specific to just going to California, not included in my general travel budget. So those are the 10 buckets that I set up with Ally. Ally, and I am super excited to start getting money into them. The one thing I really like about Ally is that they give you a pie chart, and it not only shows you how much money is in each of your buckets, but how much total money you have altogether. So although it does seem like you have 10 different savings accounts, you don't. You have one main savings account, and in that savings account, you can just add specific amounts of money to specific categories, but you can keep track of it through seeing how much total you have in that savings account. It's made for long-term saving. It's made for more specific savings and not just for your everyday bills or expenses, and it's not made so that you just have one account and then you can say, okay, I have $15,000 in this account, but I don't really know what I want that $15,000 to be saved for. This gives you an opportunity to specifically save for the exact things that you want to be saving for. I love the pie chart. I love the graphs that they offer. I think that having a visual accompany your savings account really helps you feel like you are in more control of your finances and that you have more say over what your money goes to and what you're saving for. So to get into a little bit deeper of how I plan on contributing to these savings accounts. So what I'm going to do is once a month, I will deposit a lump sum of money, however much I feel like allocating to that savings account that month. And then once the money is in there, I can then go through and distribute where I want the money to go to. And the Ally has set it up so that it is very easy to do that. This video is not sponsored by Ally Bank, by the way. I am just making this video as a peer review over the services that I'm using from their product. I think that their savings accounts offer great interest rates, and I think their the usability of them is very great as well. So this is just my honest review of the service. This is my first month using this account, and so maybe in the future I will do a more in-depth review of Ally Bank and how their savings account and bucket system works, how I like it, and what pros and cons I take away from it. But as of right now, I haven't used it enough, but I'm hopeful that it's going to be really beneficial. So I went through and I put a number next to every bucket as a representation of how much money I would want to have in that account if it was fully funded. So for example, for my travel account, I'd like to have about $2,000. For my California trip, I'd like to have $3,000. For occasions, I'd like to have $400. Vehicles, I'd like to save $10,000. All the way down to a home, which is up to $25,000 in that account. And so I did the math, and if I fully funded all of these accounts, it would be about $47,000 that I need to have fully funded accounts in all savings categories, which sounds a little intimidating, but I actually broke it down. And with the start of my no spend, I knew that I had about $12,000 to $14,000 additional money that was not accounted for after everything that I pay, including my bills and expenses, my general living expenses. So at the end of my salary, if I had that $12,000 and I participated in a no spend and didn't spend any additional money and just saved that money, it would take me just under 4 years to have all of 10 of those buckets fully funded, which to me, when I say it that way, seems a lot less daunting. Just 4 years and I would have $47,000 allocated to specific parts of my budget that I want to save for. I think that sounds pretty amazing. So something I'm definitely shooting for. I don't think that it will ever be a fully funded account because some of those accounts will be used for spending throughout the year. Occasions, birthdays, things like that. Holidays at the end of every year for Christmas, that account will most likely be drained. But the goal is that overall that those accounts are consistently being funded over and over again every month to stay sufficient. After I determined the specific amount of money that I would want in each of those accounts for it to be fully funded, I went through and I put a number 1 through 10 next to it to determine the importance of it. I wanted to rank the categories in what's most important to me as well as what requires the most money. And ironically, some of the accounts that require the most money ranked really high on my list of priorities. So for instance, saving for a home is going to cost me $25,000, but I ranked it number 10. So it's the most important thing. It's going to get the most shares of my money every month when I deposit it is going to go into that account. So that account can be funded faster and quicker, not only because it requires more money, but because it's the most important to me. Next on the list is vehicles, not only because it is a $10,000 goal, but buying a new car is something that's very important to me, or buying a newer car than what I have is something that's important to me before I do something like have a baby, which is next on the list. Number 8, $5,000 I'd like to save for having a baby. And so home and baby, those things are kind of higher on the priority list for me. And then it goes from there, everything ranked 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then what I went through and did was I realized that 10 plus 9 plus 8 plus 7 plus 6 plus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is 55. And then I divided the 100% by the 55, which gave me 1.8 something percent. And I then allocated that percentage to that corresponding group. So for instance, family, since I don't really super know what I want to do with that, is also the lowest needing funded account, which is only $100. So that will be 1.81%. So if I put in $500 that month to that savings account, only 1.81% of that $500 will go towards family, whereas something like travel, which fell as a 5 on the list, which accounts for 9.05% of the total, that would get 9.05% of that. And then so on and so forth, all the way down to home. So out of 10 times 1.81% is 18.1%. So 18% of that total amount of money that I deposit will go into my home account. So I feel as though this strategy is really good. I think it will not only help me build the buckets that have a higher amount that I'm trying to reach quicker, but the ones that are the most important will be filled up more, and the ones that I find least important or a little more manageable on my own, throughout my own budget, is going to be falling lower on the list. I'm going to show you a screen recording of me depositing the money into my account so that you can kind of see how easy it is. The first deposit I started with was $300, so I will go through and I will then take the $300 and find out what each of these percentages is of $300 and deposit the corresponding amount. Now you may notice I did round down, so the total percent at the end of this is 99.55%. So there's 0.45% that is not accounted for, and at the end of allocating everything, I'll just take that and I'll probably just put it towards whatever account I feel like giving a little bit extra that month. And so whatever I feel is most important at that time in my heart, and whatever is maybe stressful for me or weighing on me more financially, I will put that tiny little bit of extra into that account. It's going to probably be just pennies or dollars. It won't be a lot, but it'll just be a little bit that goes more towards something that is causing me maybe stress that time and will give me just a little bit of relief, even if it's just $1.50 extra into that savings account. As silly as it sounds, that's what my plan is with that extra 0.45%. All right, guys, so that basically sums up how I'm starting the sinking funds, how I'm using Ally Bank's bucket system to do it, and hopefully it is successful. I will be checking back in periodically with updates on how it's going, and so look forward to the videos that will update you on how the Ally bucket system is working for me and how that savings account in general is benefiting me. I will share some of my interest returns and things like that as well. Alright guys, if you liked this video, please remember to smash that like button. It super helps out the YouTube algorithm and my channel greatly. If you enjoyed content like this, please consider subscribing, because I'll be posting new videos like this every month. And once again, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys and I love you. Thank you so much. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.